My intuition is telling me there'll be better days.
What's up, fam? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a video I've wanted to do for a long time, but I was still trying to figure out a way to do it. I didn't just want to do like a story time video, but the main reason I have not done it is because of my profession. This isn't a story that I necessarily, want people that I work with to know about me, but I think it's a story and a topic that is crucial for me to talk about, especially in today's society. And it's going to be about being a stripper. Our society romanticizes and glamorizes stripping. You see it in music videos, everywhere. And I'm going to talk about a little bit why it's become so glamorized, and then I'm going to talk about my personal experience being a stripper and the negative consequences that come with it and what it's really like, because the way that it's glorified in mainstream society these days is not the way it really is. I just want to put the truth out there, because this is going to sound cliche, but if I can save one girl from stopping from getting on that pole, then my work is done. So if you would like to hear my experience with being a stripper and what it was really like for me and my opinion on the subject, then keep on watching. And if you do like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now, I just want to first by saying that this is my own personal experience. This is my opinion. I do have some, statistical facts, but I'm sure I'm gonna get some comments from someone like, fuck you, I'm a stripper, I love it. Like, okay, that's great. We all see Cardi B, and she was a stripper, and I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Hustlers, but I watched it and I was just like, that is not what it's like. And yeah, so I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. All right, let me first off by saying our society conditions women as it is to believe that our beauty is a commodity, that your beauty equals your value in the world. And stripping just kind of confirms that. It's a $57 billion industry worldwide and a $15 billion industry just in the United States alone. So, all right, let me start off by telling you guys how I got into this situation. I was very young, I was very impressionable. I was 21 years old. I was in school and I had been working in restaurants. I was a waitress and bartender, and I met a girl and we became friends, and she was a stripper. She didn't do completely nude, neither did I. It was a bikini bar, but it was topless. And I would see her coming home with like a couple $100 every night. And I could make a couple $100 serving and bartending like on the weekends, but it wasn't an every night thing. She just made it seem like it was the perfect job. Like, you just get to go and hang out and dance and listen to music and make money. And I was like, hell, I love to dance. I can do this. So that's how it started. Okay. I believe there are certain personality types that are going to be better suited for this than me, because one of the main things you have to do is manipulate men into believing that you're interested in them to make money, to give them a dance. And I'm a horrible liar, number one, and it's just very hard for me to be inauthentic. And there are just some people like Cardi B or my friend who were able to be manipulative for the sake of money. The majority of the women that do go into the exotic dancing industry are usually like single mothers, uneducated women who don't believe they really have any other options. And because of the world we live in, sometimes they don't. So they turn to stripping because we've been conditioned to see our beauty and our body as an asset, as a commodity that can be sold. So I first got hired and they teach you how to dance. And this was back when I was 21, a long time ago. This was, stripping was still kind of taboo back then. It wasn't as glorified as it is these days. So they teach you how to dance, and that was actually really fun. I enjoyed that. And then, so my first night, everyone's super nice, and the first thing they do when you go in is, here, have a drink. I'm like, oh, damn, this is a pretty cool job so far. I get to dance and drink and just kind of hang out. And later did I realize that drinking and drugs were necessary to numb yourself in order to get through what you had to do to make that money. I wasn't at like some huge strip club that's all nude that like famous rappers go to. It was like your local bikini bar. And so you would go up and you would dance, but that's not where you would make your money. You would make your money with private lap dances and going to the VIP room or the champagne room. And a lot of people have the idea that it's easy money, and that is so not the case. And before I actually started doing it, I thought the same thing. I saw my friend coming home with hundreds of dollars every night. The reality of it is, if you want to make good money, you have to do more than dance. So let's just start out by talking about the specifics of how it works in a strip club. So you're kind of like an individual contractor. You go in, and at the end of the night, whatever money you make, you have to pay a certain amount to the house. You have to pay a certain amount to the DJ. You have to pay a certain amount to the bartender. You have to pay a certain amount to the bodyguards. So there could be nights, in my case, where I would walk out with $20. I could have made $100, but after paying out everything, it was $20. And I quickly came to realize that the way my friend and everyone else in there, the way they were making money was by doing more than dancing. And I don't think these women went into it thinking, oh, I'm gonna give a hand job or a blow job or have sex for money. I think it started out as dancing, and for whatever reason, they have children to support, they need to pay rent. They slowly they ignored their values and did what they had to. But those actions aren't without negative consequences. So I did some research and So 66 to 90% of women who are exotic dancers were sexually abused as children. They have higher rates of depression, STDs, domestic violence, assault, rape, and PTSD. And it was crazy, like the percentage of women who had been physically, sexually, verbally assaulted, and even raped. And I had a few of these encounters myself. There were a few times where I was giving someone a private dance, and you're turned around and they would just stick their hands in your vagina. They would rape you with their hands. I mean, there are bodyguards there, but they know what goes on, and they're trying to keep the customers, which are the men. They're not making the money off of the women. They're making the money off of them. So they're not as protective as you may think. There was another time where I was in a VIP room with someone, and he said, I'm gonna pay you $150 to have sex with me. And I said no. And he pulled a knife out and threatened to kill me. So I just ran out, and that was the last day. I never went back after that. I had other options. I was in school. I could go back to waitressing, and these women don't believe that they have other options. Stripping causes the women to focus on their physical appearance and not their other qualities or assets that they may have. More than half of exotic dancers have been threatened with a weapon. I thought that was just shocking. It's shocking. My best friend, I remember when we first started to become friends, she was like obsessed with strippers. I remember walking into a conversation she was having, talking about how she wanted to be a stripper. I was like, girl, no you don't. She was like, how do you know? I'm like, because I've been one. And she's like, what? Tell me all about it. And I'm like, no, it's not like you think it is. It's not like you see in movie and music videos and TV. And she was like so obsessed to the point where for her birthday one year, we went to Miami and we went to King of Diamonds, which is like an infamous strip club in Miami, like that all the rappers go to. Like they legit had guys outside with machine guns. It was ridiculous to get in there. And as time has gone on, and the more she's gone to strip clubs, I think the more she's starting to see through the facade. But I know her mindset is the mindset that a lot of women have. You know, there's a fine line between stripping and prostitution, and drugs are rampant. My first day, you want a bump? You want some pills? It's necessary. They need to numb because their soul, at least my soul, felt dirty doing what I was doing. I tried to rationalize it, like, you know, I'm just doing this for money. It doesn't mean more, but my body doesn't have a price. And that was a lesson I had to learn at a very young age. And it can also negatively affect your self-esteem. So after, you know, you would do your set on stage and dance, and then they would give you time to do private dances. But then there was a time, if they would do it a few times a night, where all the women had to get on stage, and it was literally like we were like cattle, like being shown for auction. We had to walk around the stage, and they would do like deals on dances, and you know, then the guys could come up and pick you. And if you weren't picked, you know, it would lower your self-esteem, because all it's based off of is your appearance. It's not based off of your intellectual capacity, your personality, just your appearance. Like I said, it can, that can cause you to lose your self-esteem because a guy doesn't pick you. I mean, it shouldn't, but when your only value in that setting is your body and your appearance, your money technically reflects your appearance. And it negatively affected my self-esteem because I wasn't making the money the other women were. Later, I knew it then that these other women were doing a lot more than just dancing. But even though I knew that, it still got to me. But what got to me and affected me even more was just allowing myself to be objectified like that. And it definitely wasn't the fun time that I imagined and that my friend portrayed it to be. She liked it. She was a great liar and manipulator. I found out later in our friendship as well. But I mean, even the women who enjoy manipulating men for their money, it still takes a toll on them psychologically. It has to. Another study showed that strippers have less satisfaction from personal and romantic relationships. Another thing that I think didn't help my case was being so tall. So I'm 5'10", and these stripper heels are like 5-6 inches. So I was like 6'3". I was taller than like every single guy in there, which I think intimidated them. But it just wasn't for me. And I feel like there's so many things I'm missing out, so many things I want to talk about. But the overall message I just want you to take is not everything is what it seems. If you are maybe considering becoming a stripper, really think about why you're doing it and if the money is really worth selling your soul and what you'll have to do to make that money. I ended up I was actually making less being a stripper than I had as a waitress. It's because my values, I wouldn't go past a certain point. But I could see how easy it could be if you stayed in that environment for so long, especially when everyone else around you was doing it. And, management and bartenders don't frown upon it. They know what happens. They know what goes on. They are just concerned about the business. They're not concerned about the psychological well-being of these women. This is just something that I needed to talk about, and hopefully this will help someone, or this will maybe just make you look at stripping as a profession in a different light. And that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to shed some light on the reality of it, because our society today, like I said, glamorizes it, and it's not something that should be glamorized. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know your comments on this down below. And I will see you next time. Bye. I'll be home for the holidays. When you see me, better holler at me. I gotta get up off the city before it try to trap me. I gotta leave, I wish I could stay, but I'll be home for the holidays. And to those that I used to know from way before, keep your head up, wanna keep this bread up. Then I gotta go, I wish I could stay, but I'm coming home for the holidays. And it's a story about some puppy love. With the time wars, feeling like this must be love. Oh, now I'm on my road and shit. She bad as hell, still get homesick. I was set up with a scholarship. Just like a black man in college. Got a little knowledge, now I'm following the politics. But I still gotta holler at my old chick. So sweet, so thick, girl, pick up your phone, it's me. She said, well, we ain't homies no more. You go to college now, you act like you don't know me no more. Girl, please, we got history. The semester seems so long. The last time I seen you, baby, you ain't have no clothes on. Still history repeats itself. When I got home, girl, it's on you and need your belt, all your pants, all your drawers. Then we hit the rewind. Just don't give it up in the meantime. I'll be home for the holidays.